Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives Gossip. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kroy Biermann physically blocks Kim Zolciak move. Cops called. Ra'iko a alum. Kroy Biermann physically blocked his estranged wife, Kim Zolciak, from moving. Therefore, the police were called once again to their Georgia mansion. The cops have told Kim that she needs to stop calling them with every divorce issue she has. Yet, it has happened again, but what exactly transpired? Keep reading for further details. Kroy Biermann physically blocks Kim Zolciak's move. It's very sad for Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann, as they were once very much in love. When Kim laid her eyes on Kroy, she knew that she had to get to know him and see what he was all about. Their courtship played out on Royola, and eventually, they landed their own spin-off, Don't Be Tardy. He'd adopted her two oldest daughters, Ariana and Brielle, from a previous relationship. They then went on to have 4 more children and seemed incredibly happy. So it was a shock when they filed for divorce in early 2023. Admittedly, Kim and Kroy were struggling financially. Their Georgia mansion had faced foreclosure starting in 2022. They saved it and were able to do so again in 2023. Kim also owed around $1 million to the IRS and had a mountain of debts. When they filed for divorce, they threw a lot of allegations at each other, tried to reconcile, but it did not last. The police were called quite frequently to the home and were just called during a dispute between the estranged couple. They asked Kim to stop calling when it was not an emergency, but now the police are back in action. According to TMZ, Kim Zolciak was trying to leave with her moving truck, but Kroy was blocking the way. On Sunday, December 15th, a truck was at the Georgia home to get the remaining items. However, that became a struggle when Kim was unable to exit her driveway. Fortunately, they got smart and called the non-emergency line this time. Upon arrival, Kroy moved his car and Kim was able to leave. Status of the home. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann's Georgia mansion was set for auction in early December. Yet, nothing happened, but an Atlanta newspaper claimed that they were granted another postponement. Truist Bank owns the home, and they gave them the chance to sell the home on their own. Kroy claimed he wanted to take less than the selling price, but Kim declined, so he tried to force the sale. Now, it is very unclear as to what is really happening and why they are moving everything out. If they still have more time, why not stay through the holidays? At the same time, Kim has a lot of items, so it is probably best to start storing stuff ASAP. The Sabba between Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann took a jaw-dropping turn this week, spiraling into chaos, confusion, and cops. What was supposed to be a quiet moment of independence for the Real Housewives of Atlanta alum turned into a scene straight out of a reality TV finale. Except this wasn't scripted. It was raw, real, and escalating fast. The attempted exit. Sources close to the estranged couple revealed that tensions had been boiling beneath the surface for days. Kim had allegedly made plans to move some of her belongings out of the family home they've been forced to cohabitate in since their divorce proceedings began. After months of living under the same roof despite a bitter separation, Kim was finally ready to claim a new chapter, or so she thought. With the help of her assistant and a moving van that pulled up discreetly to the gated community in Alpharetta, Georgia, Kim attempted to retrieve boxes she'd pre-packed earlier in the week. She didn't expect a warm goodbye from Kroy, but she certainly didn't expect to be physically blocked either. Kroy's unmovable stance. Eyewitnesses described a scene that could only be described as tense and theatrical. As Kim's assistant began loading boxes onto a dolly, Kroy reportedly stormed out of the front door in gym shorts and a football camp t-shirt, planting himself squarely in front of the moving truck. He looked like the linebacker again, but this time, his opponent was Kim's freedom, one neighbor told local reporters. He stood there with his arms folded like he was ready to defend the goal line, except the goal was a set of Louis Vuitton luggage. Kroy reportedly shouted that Kim was not taking anything out of the home without his approval, claiming several of the items she packed were marital property and not hers to remove. The argument that followed was intense, emotional, and increasingly loud, prompting neighbors to call the police. Police arrive. When officers arrived, they found the scene straight out of a Bravo reunion. Him standing by the gate in oversized sunglasses and a designer hoodie, pacing and fuming into her phone, while Kroy continued to block the driveway, arguing with the moving crew. According to the police report later obtained by local media, both parties were extremely agitated. Officers were forced to separate the couple and speak to them individually in an effort to de-escalate the situation. Kim reportedly insisted that she had every right to remove her personal effects, including sentimental items, clothing, and work-related materials. Kroy, on the other hand, claimed Kim was attempting to sneak out with more than just her own belongings, including high-priced art and electronics he believes should be inventoried and divided legally. They were screaming over who bought what, who pays what bills, who's hiding money. It got ugly fast, said one officer familiar with the scene. There was no middle ground between them. A marriage in ruins. It's no secret the marriage between Kim and Kroy has fallen apart publicly and painfully. Once hailed as one of reality TV's most surprisingly stable couples, things took a turn after financial troubles reportedly pushed them into foreclosure territory. The couple filed for divorce multiple times, only to reconcile and then split again in a dizzying on-again, off-again legal whirlwind. Now, their toxic dynamic has reached a fever pitch, with neither willing to back down and both allegedly manipulating legal gray areas to maintain control of the home, the kids, and the assets. This latest incident underscores how far the relationship has deteriorated. Kim was visibly shaken during the standoff, and according to an insider, she later told a friend she feared Kroy's behavior was becoming more controlling and unpredictable. Custody complications. Complicating matters further is the issue of custody. The former couple shares 4 biological children. Kroy also adopted Kim's 2 older daughters from a previous relationship. Though they've both petitioned for primary custody at different times, the children are still mostly living in the home caught in the center of this emotional battlefield. According to reports, the children were not present during the confrontation, but it's unclear how much of the tension they've witnessed behind closed doors. It's heartbreaking, said a source close to the family. There was a time when they all sat around laughing and filming for TV. Now they don't even speak without yelling. Kim's side of the story. Later that day, Kim was seen leaving the area in a black SUV, reportedly heading to stay with a friend. Paparazzi caught her shielding her face and refusing to answer questions, but sources say she was humiliated and enraged. In a cryptic Instagram story later that night, Kim posted a quote that read, "You can't heal in the same environment that broke you." Fans immediately took it as a jab at Kroy, and perhaps a sign she was done playing nice. Her lawyer issued a brief statement to media saying, Ms. Zolciak was well within her rights to retrieve personal property. It is unfortunate that her estranged husband chose to escalate matters unnecessarily. Kroy's side of the story. Kroy, meanwhile, has remained relatively silent in public, but his camp is telling a different version. A source close to him claims Kim's move was sneaky and that she was trying to get the house of everything valuable before the court could decide how to split it. He's not being aggressive. He's protecting what's legally his, the insider said. Kim has a history of impulsive decisions, and this felt like another one. What happens now? With police reports filed, legal teams engaged, and emotions flaring hotter than ever, the stage is set for an even nastier custody and asset battle. Kim's team is reportedly pushing for emergency mediation to prevent further conflict, while Kroy's side insists everything must go through the court before anything leaves the house, including Kim herself. Fans of the couple, and even some RHOA castmates, are bracing for what could be a courtroom drama worthy of its own spin-off. As one Bravo commentator quipped, "This is no longer Don't Be Tardy, it's Don't Be Petty." But unfortunately, it's too late for that. Whether Kim will be allowed to reclaim her belongings, or if Kroy will continue to guard the door like a defensive end. One thing is clear: this isn't the end. It's only the next explosive chapter in a divorce saga that has captivated fans, divided sympathies, and shattered any illusion of their once picture-perfect life.